Great to have you on our show.
Well, it's good to be on the show, and I hope everybody understands what we're trying to do.
And what you're doing is great. You've introduced a bill that would make it so that hunters who donate meat to food banks would be eligible for a tax deduction. What prompted you to do this?
Well, first, I think it's an encouragement for people to donate, hunters to donate more food to the needy, number one. And it is expensive to go hunting. People don't understand that. And when you take game, I've watched this too many years that a lot of times the game is not really used by the family itself, and this would be an incentive for them to donate to those that are not less fortunate, and they ought to get a little tax break for it because they do spend money doing what everybody says is a hobby, but it's not a hobby. It's something people enjoy, and it's good for our way of life, and it's really good. It doesn't include fish. It's just as mostly all game, and they have to be taken with state and local laws and regulations, including the seasons and the size restrictions. So this does not encourage people to go out and slaughter something for a tax deduction. This, in fact, encourages a hunter to donate, and it's been a successful program.
And it really is. It's about hunters making a difference. And I know you found out from your food bank in Alaska, the need is unbelievable.
Well, even in Alaska, everybody thinks Alaska's got a land of plenty, but the reality is there's a lot of people up there that really could use more food than they're getting. We ought to be able to set aside 15 million pounds of food, and meat's a big factor in that. And so if they can, for instance, we do have some programs in Alaska already, but this gives more incentive for a hunter to donate game that he may not be using to the more needy.
Mm-hmm. And I was reading on your website, I mean, in Alaska alone, we're talking about 93,000 residents who have no idea where their next meal is going to come from.
Well, that's what I said. We have a very convoluted program in Alaska as far as the rural residents primarily, because all the years that they're able to get their games, now they're restricted by some state laws. Federal lands have been set aside. Hunting is not really encouraged or not allowed in some areas, especially in the parks, which I never could understand because the natives were hunting there a long time ago. So we do have a problem, and we're working on that every day to make sure this is a good thing, and I'm sure it will become a reality.
And as you know, it's not just the amount of food that's donated, but it's the quality. These food banks will tell you there's nothing like the protein value that they get from this meat that's donated by the hunters.
Absolutely. It's much better protein and you'd get from in a grocery store. It's a higher protein content, less fat, and it's a good product.
So what's been the reaction to your bill?
The reaction's been good. We're going to probably try to move this bill, within this next year. I'm not overly optimistic much is going to happen this year because we're running right down to the deadline and we got all the appropriation bills, et cetera. But it's got a lot of people talking. We got a lot of support from the NRA and a lot of support from all the hunters across the country. So maybe somebody will say, "Hey, this is a great idea. It's good for those less fortunate, and it's great for those that have the ability to go hunting."
Absolutely. So, what can people do, sportsmen, hunters? What can they do to help you get this done?
I would start, if I would have any suggestions, you start sending emails and letters by the bushels to your congressman and senator and say, "This is a good idea. Let's do it."